Hello, I'm Expo, and today, as part of Gamera's 60th anniversary celebration, we're taking a look at the 6th film in the series, titled Gamera vs. Jiger, known in the US as Gamera vs. Monster X. As usual, this film was released a year after its predecessor, in 1970, in Japan, of course. At this time, world cinema was showing such hits as The Aristocrats, MASH, which spawned the popular TV series on the same name, Kelly's Heroes, and Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the second film in the series. Its main competitor, Godzilla, didn't receive any new release this year. Moving on to the Gamera vs. Jiger. No surprise here, we have two chief protagonists, Japanese Hiroshi Kiriyama and American Tommy Williams. A slight difference is that this time we meet the characters separately. Hiroshi first, then Tommy appears separately after a few minutes, and only after a moment they meet on screen, where we see them together for the rest of the time. Jiger also has a new element of his appearance, but more on that in a moment. These Kaiju beasts are certain resemblance to Barugon in terms of design, so much so sometimes I was confused about which one was which. His main weapon is an orange beam, very destructive. Gamera is resistant to it directly, but not to the sound waves that accompany it. The attack itself is also quite visual, with an interesting scene showing 3 people hit by the beam, leaving only skeletons behind. Jiger also has another ranged attack. He fires a kind of projectile, a physical long thing which he uses in a fight with Gamera to prevent him from retracting his hands and legs into the shell. Another ability are the suction cups on his palms, which allows him, for example, to summon boulders from a considerable distance, which he then uses in battle. Moving on to something unique. Jiger has a sting-like thing on his tail, with which he can eject Gamera with a parasite, a smaller version of himself. This is the film's and only film in the Showa series to feature more than one of the same kaiju. In Gamera vs. Barugon, he starts a tiny Barugon just after hatching, then an adult, but it was the same specimen. Here we see both a large and small one. As a result of this attack, Gamera falls into a sort of coma. Fortunately, a solution is found. Using the submarine Hiroshi's father had prepared for the Expo, the tried heroes swim into Gamera. Yes, into Gamera. There, they help Gamera by fighting the mini Jiger. The human vs. Kaiju storyline is not unusual. In every movie, humans and the military fight Kaiju in some way. But here, the unique thing is that the humans and the enemy are similar in size. Thanks to the describer help, Gamera returns to the game, and in the final battle, of course, he wins. First using telephone poles to show them in his ears, so he is immune to Jigen's sound attack, then disabling his stinger. The next attack reminds me of Seismic Toss from Pokemon. The way Gamera lifts Jiger and slams him to the ground was very similar to Charizard's. And finally, he used the statue whose removal at the beginning of the movie said Jiger eliminated him. The threat is averted, the movie ends. A bit of trivia. The film premiered in 1970. The same year Japan hosted Expo 70, also known as the Japan World Exposition, Osaka, 1970. Both the location and the exhibition play a significant role in the film. The filmmakers filmed in the real location, of course before the actual exhibition opened. The very plot of Jiger's plans is connected to the exhibition. The aforementioned sculpture, which immortalizes Jiger, was taken from the island to be displayed as part of the expo. Overall, it's an interesting example of large-scale product placement. Another interesting fact is that it was during this expo that the semi-legendary event, the Gamera vs. Godzilla stage show, took place. The two characters appeared and fight each other. Characters such as Gorosaurus and Minilla from the Godzilla universe, as well as Jiger and Space Gauss from the Gamera universe, also appeared. The moderator of this event was Kon Omuna, who also played here and in the previous film. This brings us to the cast. As in the previous films, here too, we have some people who play different roles in other Gamera films. The mentioned Kon Omura played Officer Kondo in Gamera vs. Guiron. Here he appeared as that of the Hiroshi. Yoshi Yoshida played Eskimo Chef in Gamera the Giant Monster. He returned as Niemon here. Munehiko Takada played in 4 Gamera movies. He appeared as Soviet representative in the first one, Gamera the Giant Monster. He played Shinkansen Christopher in Gamera vs. Gauss, Jim's father in Gamera vs. Viras, and finally, here he played foreign helicopter pilot. The record holder, Shonatsuki, appeared in 6 different films with Gamera. He played Ichiko Hitara in Gamera vs. Barugon. In Gamera vs. Gauss, he was Self-Defense Force General. In Gamera vs. Viras, he was one of villains. In Gamera vs. Giron, he appeared as news reporter. Here, he played Dr. Suzuki. And in Gamera vs. Zigra, he appeared as Doctor. Inside Gamera's suite, we get Umonosuke Izumi. It's second and the last time he played Gamera. References to this film in other pop culture work are rather sparse. The film was discussed in Mystery Science roughly 30,000, and is the only Gamera listament discussed only once. It wasn't included in the original series released in 1988 or 1991, like the other movies, but was discussed in the revived show in episode 7 of season 13, released in 2022. The 1973 Italian fantasy comedy, and so they become the three Supermen of the West, use short clips from this film at the beginning, featuring Jiger and Gamera, who are meant to represent dinosaurs. As the scientists observing them have a time machine and have traveled basic time to the time of the dinosaurs. Jiger might be mistaken for a dinosaur, but Gamera is, well, a turtle. Definitely a turtle. In the 2018 film Pacific Rim Uprising, goods of various kaiju from the Gamera and Godzilla universe appears. One of the skulls belongs to Jiger, a clear reference to this film. The first season of the series Franklin has an episode titled Franklin in the Dark, adapting the book's original of the same name. Franklin is afraid of the darkness of his shell. In the book, his imagination gives him vision of some generic monster lurking around his shell. In the TV series, the creator decided to give us great Easter egg. The four visible monsters are based on classic Gamera enemies. There are Gauss, Viras, Jiger, and Barugon. Physical release includes VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, both single and in various many movie editions. In the first video about Gamera the Giant Monster, I devoted a lot of time to the Arrow release of Gamera. So now I will just mention here that the Gamera vs Jiger was available in this set with the original Japanese audio, English dubbing, and a version with narration by Lee Holland. Online availability is also quite good, especially for American viewers, where the film can also be found on the free website tubi.tv. As always, a brief mention of the German release. Frankenstein is still in the title. It translates as Gamera vs Jiger. Frankenstein is demon threatens the world. The comics are the bare minimum, which see the adaptation released in 1970, alongside the film, and another released in 1995 as part of the series of 8 adaptation of the film from the Showa era. As for merchandise, we see the standard Jiger figures sold individually and available in larger set, for example with Gamera LR ponies from the Showa era. The next recording will be about Gamera vs Ziggler, but for now that's all. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!